You know, this movie caught my attention as soon as the first trailer came out. If this movie had the balls to use Old Town Road in the trailer, what wasn't it going to have the balls to do? So Rambo Last Blood is directed by Adrian Grunberg and stars Slice, himself Sylvester Stallone, as John Rambo, who must confront his past and unearth his ruthless combat skills to exact revenge in a final mission. So full transparency going into this review, I have not seen any of the previous Rambo films. I went into this completely blind. I just have not really come across the Rambo movies. They're not really anything that kind of came across my radar before going into this movie and before this movie was coming out. It was never something that was really on my radar. But after seeing this movie, I feel like I should go back and watch them because I'm actually quite interested to see them now. But going into Rambo Last Blood, I was kind of interested because I thought, yeah, this movie looks fun. Like, this movie looks like a really fun Stallone action film. And it looks very classic. I kind of got Logan vibes from the trailer. What happened to my voice there? I feel like there was some kind of like Logan vibes going into the trailer, which I was really excited about. And, you know, we all love Stallone, so I was thinking, okay, this could actually be interesting. So I'll start off with the positives. For one, Sylvester Stallone is still kicking it at the age of 73. He's brilliant in this movie. I actually think that Sylvester Stallone is kind of an underrated actor. I actually think he's actually really good in this movie. And he's been really good a lot recently. He's kind of actually maybe gotten better with age. Like a fine wine. Because if you look at him in a movie like Creed and Creed 2, he's really good in those films. And I believe he was actually Oscar nominated for the first Creed. So that just kind of shows you how good he is in his older age. And here in Rambo Last Blood, he's intense in this film. Like, he's really angry, and he really has all this simmering anger beneath his skin that really just shows that, yeah, Sylvester Stallone still has a fair bit of acting range within him, even while he is approaching his mid-70s. I really feel like there's a lot really that he delivers with this film, and I liked him a lot in this film. And again, I've never seen the character of John Rambo before. I've never seen a Rambo movie, but for first impressions, it's one hell of a one. Now, Rambo Last Blood is pretty much a straight-up action movie, and I feel like although the first two acts aren't full-on action, like the third act is, there's still a lot of good action, and the action overall in this movie, I think, is pretty well handled. Now, I will come back to the action in the negative portion of this review, but I feel like the action itself, it's fun, it's intense, it's violent, it's gritty, it's gnarly, it's just really entertaining to watch in all the wrong ways. They really set up the villains of this film and, like, the evil characters in this movie as being real bastards, so when you actually see them just get killed in horrible ways, you're cheering, you're voting for Rambo, you're like, come on John, let's get these guys dead, because they are really horrible people in this movie who do really horrible things. So when you see really horrible things happen to them, you're just on board, and I was totally on board, and I loved seeing it. I was like, this is really good to see, and again, the movie is violent, it is gritty, even the final kill in this movie, I won't spoil it of course, but the final kill in this movie is really, really gnarly, and it really made me laugh, and there are a lot of kills in this movie that did make me laugh, just in the way of like, wow, I can't believe they did that. There's a lot of really good kills in this movie, and again, it's just a really fun action overall. I think the film is also able to pull on the emotional heartstrings a little bit. There was one scene in particular that actually got me to tear up a little bit. I was getting a little bit too invested in this story with Rambo that I was actually starting to tear up a little bit in one scene, so that's kudos, I guess. And the biggest positive I can really give Rambo Last Blood is that the movie is just pure fun. The movie isn't trying to be anything else. The movie is just trying to be pure fun. And the fun is something 2019 films have been lacking. 2019 has been a complete fun sponge, removing all the funs out of all the movies that were trying to have fun this year. The closest one they got was Hobbs and Shaw, but even that had some downsides to it. This movie just goes, screw that, we're going to go and just make a really quick, short, fun, 90-minute action film, and it was brilliant because of it. I loved it. I loved how fun this movie was. Again, I had a blast watching this movie. Like, I came out feeling so good after it because it really felt like this film is one of the only movies this year that I came out of actually really happy with, because again, I went in, obviously I didn't really have any expectations. I'm not a Rambo fan, but coming out of it, I was like, that was just a movie I really thoroughly enjoyed, and that is something that's rare this year. Now, moving over to the negatives, I do have a few for this. For one, the dialogue is very cheesy from time to time, or most of the time, really. I feel like the dialogue in this, it's very typical 80s action Stallone dialogue. I believe Stallone actually co-wrote the script of this film. And I feel like you can actually see that there's quite a lot of just cheesy dialogue throughout it that can sometimes be a bit cringy. Sometimes it works. I feel like for this film, this film is really trying to be a throwback to 80s action films. And I feel like that cheesy dialogue can sometimes work quite well. And to be honest, I'm not really coming to this movie for, super in-depth, really good dialogue. So sometimes the cheesy dialogue I actually really liked, but just, for some people it's not going to work. So the cheesy dialogue, it is there and it is prevalent. Also, I mentioned that I'd come back to the action in the negative portion of the review, and that is with the editing. The editing is pretty dreadful in this film. It's pretty awful. There's a lot of really or odd up close shots in this film that alternate quite quickly, and it's really horrible to watch. Like, you get like really up close shots. It's just really horrible. At times the movie's just like this, and I'm like, can we please just zoom out a little bit? But even in the action scenes, it's really quick cut, and sometimes it's really hard to see. It's the typical editing of action movies today, where it's just really quick cut, and it's really hard to see what's actually going on. So yeah, the editing definitely let down some of the action scenes for sure. Not all of them, but some of them. And there is some dodgy CGI here and there as well, as particularly in driving scenes. There are a lot of driving scenes in this movie, and in those particular driving scenes, you know, because obviously in most films these days, people don't actually drive anywhere, you just have a green screen around a car. And those particular scenes, they looked really poor. They're just really obvious. Sometimes, you know, movies can get away with it, and sometimes they can hide it really well. This movie, not so much. Overall, though, as you can tell, I had a blast watching Rambo Last Blood. I thought this movie was a lot of fun. Like I say, I didn't go into it with any expectations. I don't care about the Rambo movies. I just went in expecting a fun action film, and that's exactly what I got. I came out of this movie completely fulfilled, and that is something that I have not experienced that often in 2019. So to say that, I really think is some of the biggest compliments I can give Rambo Last Blood this year, because it's just, this year I've not experienced anything like it. It's just a straight up fun 90-minute action film. It's short, it's sweet, it's brutal, and it's lovely. And you get a nice little Stallone performance on top. And overall, although I feel like the film is, you know, really fun, I do have to give it an honest grade. I am going to say that Rambo Last Blood is a 5 out of 10. But in terms of enjoyment, this movie is honestly like a 9. I think this film's really fun, but my final grade for Rambo Last Blood is going to be a 5 out of 10. But if you do want to go see this movie, you're going to have a blast just like I did. So if you guys seen Rambo Last Blood, if you have, make sure to let me know all your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let's have a conversation about this film in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, if you want to see more movie reviews and movie-related videos just like this one, be sure to subscribe, and I hope to see you guys again next time.